All right, gentlemen, we are on day 3 of using process of elimination to help us answer questions about basically percent problems. Why are we doing this for 3 days? Well, we're doing it for 3 days because this is a really big objective in 7th grade. It's something that you're really going to need to have nailed in order to move on into 8th grade algebra. And it's also something that we're probably going to see a lot of on the exam. And these, I would call these easy points, because once you really slow down and do these the right way, you're going to do super well. Okay, so we're going to have a few non-negotiables when we tackle a problem like this. All right, the first thing we're going to do, as we do with every problem, we're going to read it once through without making any marks. And then when we read it again, we'll do our annotations, okay? So let's read it together. Number 1, Angela bought a calculator on sale for 15% off. Sales tax is 7.5%. If the calculator costs X dollars, which expression represents the total cost of the calculator? Reading through again, this time ready for my annotations. Angela bought a calculator on sale for 15% off. Okay, so this is a discount. I'm going to put a circle here because it's going down. Or sorry, I'm going to put a negative sign here because this is a discount. The sales tax is 7.5%. All right, so this is an increase of 7.5%. If the calculator costs X dollars, this represents the original. Which expression represents the total cost of the calculator? Okay, and when I go back here again, I know that I do a discount first and I do the total cost. So this is going to be the first calculation, and I do the total cost with the tax. That's my second calculation. All right, so I'm going to make 2 OPN charts. I'm going to do those in different colors. First, I'll do my discount OPN. All right, so the original price is X. My percent is minus 15%, and which means that my new is going to be X times 0.85% because I'm paying 85% of the price. The other way I could do it is to say X minus 0.15 times X. Okay, what does that mean? That means I'm going to take 15% off and subtract it from X. It's sort of like doing that extra step that we typically don't do, but we need to know how to do both, okay? So now I have my OPN chart for my tax, all right? And so here, my new original is the new from here, all right? So it's either X times 0.85 or X minus 0.15 of X, okay? My percent is going to be plus 7.5%. So that means my new is either going to be X times 0.85. Sorry, I'm going to put this in a bracket. X times 0.85 times 1.075, or X minus X times, X minus X times 0.15 times 1.075, okay? So there are 2 ways we can do this, and you're going to see why I did it both ways when we come over here to look at our answer choices. One of the other non-negotiables that we're going to do is using a process of elimination when we see a problem like this. So I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to say, okay, so A says that it's X minus 0.15. And I see that this is X minus, it looks like this person who made this, wants us to think that this is minus 15%. So we go, oh, yeah, X minus 15%, that's correct. But right away, I know that this is not correct, okay? Because I can't just subtract 0.15 from a given number and expect it to give me 15% off. Okay, so right away, I can get rid of A, And since I see the same thing on B, I can get rid of B. Let's take a look at C. I have x minus 0.15 times x. So this is x minus 15% of x, okay? So this part checks out. But here I'm multiplying it by 0.75. And 7.5% as a decimal is 0.075. But because it's an increase, I need to have a 1 before it to make it correct. So this part is wrong. I can cross out C. Going on to D, I have x minus 0.15 of x. So that's x minus 15% of x, which is my sale price. Then when I get that, I multiply it by 1.075. So that represents the increase of 7.5% because I have my 1 right here. So D checks out, and D is my correct answer. Messiah, this took a really long time to do, and I'm not used to doing these problems quickly. Well, I'm not used to doing these problems slowly. We really want you to pause and take your time. Remember that you have all of the time you need, and we want you to take all of the time that you'll need to do these correctly. So yes, I do want you to read it once to yourself, then read it again, mark it up. I do want you to show all of your work and use process of elimination. And I'm sure that if you do that, you're going to see some really great scores. Okay, moving right along, take a look at number 2. The price of a certain item is $P. The sales tax for the item is 7%. Which expressions represent the total cost of the item in dollars after the tax has been applied? All right, read it again, mark it up. The price of a certain item is $P. And this is my original. The sales tax is 7%. All right, so because it's a tax, this is an increase of 7%. Which expressions, plural, represent the total cost of the item in dollars? So I'm looking for the total cost of the item in dollars after the tax has been applied. So essentially, we're looking for the new. All right, so let's make an OPN chart here. Super big OPN chart. Okay, so my original is P, and my percent increase is 7%. And so my new is going to be P times 1.07. That's one way that it could be. Let's go over here and see which ones of these will give us the correct answer. So looking at A, it says here 0.07 times P. And what this represents is basically multiplying P by 7%, and that would give you 7%. Oh, oops, I want this to be red. That would give you 7% of P. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for an increase. I can cross this one out. Here I have 1.07 times P, and what I see is that's actually basically what I put over here as my answer. I like this answer. It's correct. This is one of the ones I'm going to choose. Now I have P plus 0.07 times P. So basically, this is the original plus 7% of the original. And yeah, that's actually going to give me the cost plus tax. So I'm also going to circle C as one of my potential correct answers. Now, let's look at D. I have 1 plus 0.07P. Okay, well, this is just the number 1 plus 7% of P. And I don't know where that 1 comes from. It doesn't really stand for anything. It doesn't really represent anything in this case. So I'm going to cross this one out. Doesn't work. All right. So right now I have B and C being possible correct answers. Here I have 1 plus 0.07 times P. Now, if I were to start to do this, I would get 1.07 times P, which again is pretty much exactly what I did over here. All right. I switched this up, but that's okay. And so this is correct as well, because what it's saying is I'm taking my 100% plus my 0.07%, and the only reason this gets to be 100% plus 0.07%, or sorry, plus 7%, is because I'm doing it in relation to the p, okay? So E is also one of my correct answers here. Make sure that you have B, C, and E circled. Make sure that you have your OPN. Make sure that you have your labels before you move on that look just like mine. Okay, moving right along. Miss McDermott is buying a new car with an original cost of X dollars. The car is on sale for 20% off. Which two calculations could Miss McDermott perform in order to find the amount she is going to spend? All right, read it one more time. Miss McDermott is buying a new car with an original cost of X dollars. So this is my original. I'll just draw a little arrow to original. The car is on sale for 20% off. Which two calculations, so I'm looking for two calculations, could Miss McDermott perform in order to find the amount she is going to spend? Okay, so we're looking for, so the amount she is going to spend is going to be our new. All right, so I'm going to put my OPN chart here. My original is X. My percent is minus 20%. And my new is going to be, I could either do X times 80%, so 0.80. I could also do, erase that, let's write it a little bit neater. So I could do X times 80%. I could also do X minus X times 20%. These two could give me a right answer. There's probably more, but let's go look over here and start our process of elimination. So I have X plus 0.2 times X, plus sign though, and 1.12X. All right, so this represents an increase, because if I add it, I'm going to get 120%. So this would be calculating a tax instead of a discount. Here I have X plus 0.2 and 1.2 times X. Okay, if I just add 0.2 to X, I'm just going to get a random number. I'm going to get X plus whatever plus 0.2. All right, so this doesn't work out for me. Over here, 1.2 times X, again, this is an increase. So neither of these works. Here I have X minus 0.2. Okay, well, at least here we have a minus, but still, I can't just subtract 0.2 and expect it to take 20% off of X. I don't know what X is, all right? And then I have here 0.8X. Now, this would be fine, but again, we're looking for 2, so B and C are out of the question. And now here we have X minus 0.2 times X, which is what I had here. Okay, I like it. And then we have X times, or 0.8 times X, which is what I had here. Okay, so I'm going to circle D. D is my correct answer. I'd like you to do the rest of the independent practice on your own. As we come around, we do have the expectation that we see you annotate the problem, that we see your OPN chart, that we see your process of elimination. And I need to be able to understand what you're thinking when you've chosen an answer. Good luck, guys. You're going to be awesome.